Alright, so it's 7 o'clock on Monday, June 3rd, 2019, and I'll call the meeting to order. And the first thing we'll do is stand for a moment of silent reflection. Declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof. Deputy Hendricks.
Yes, the CEO Treasurer number 6 staff report. I am a preferred vendor at that business establishment, so I have an indirect conflict.
Okay. And for myself, it's under the closed session. Under the 239(2)A and C, the Napier Schoolhouse, my wife is the secretary treasurer of the Napier Women's Institute, and I declared that conflict back in January of this year. Yep, Councillor Brody?
I've got in the closed session as well, because my in-laws and my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, for the Creekside Egg Company.
Okay.
I probably better stay on that one.
Okay. And seeing that's all, we'll move into the minutes of the previous meeting, which was May 21st, 2019. We have a mover and seconder for those minutes. Councillor McKinnon and Deputy Hendricks. Is there any discussion on those? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Okay, we don't have any delegations or timed events. Moving to our correspondence. Our upcoming conferences, seminars, and meetings. So our next regular meetings are on June 17th, July 8th, and July 22nd. And the first item for correspondence is from the Blanchardstown District Historical Society, and it's a memorial event at the Boston Cemetery on July 28th of this year, and that's in the township, so hopefully some people can attend. Item number 2 is from the Stratford District Chamber of Commerce, and it's the Government Compliance for Small Businesses, and that's being held on June 6th. The recommended readings, item number 3 is from the Sauble Bayfield Conservation Authority, and it's their May 22nd, 2019 agenda for their board of directors. As well, their news release for May 28th, 2019, flooding from May 25th. Item number 5 is from the Four Counties Health Services Foundation, and it's their spring 2019 newsletter. I'm surprised Councillor McKinnon wasn't in there again. It seems like every time you have a photo in there. And then item number 6 is from the Perrys, and it's a letter of concern regarding the sidewalks in Kerwood. Is there any discussion on this one? Councillor Clark?
I'm familiar because it was in front of the church, our old church that's going to close. They're pretty narrow because they're so old, and they are cracked and heaving in a few spots, so I think it is a safety issue that we may have to address sooner or later.
Okay. So, yeah, Councillor McKinnon?
I agree with Councillor Clark. That whole section along there, I felt it should be replaced prior to any new sidewalks being installed and bring them up to the accessibility standard.
So, Jeff, can we go ahead and do the sidewalk reports and everything to include that, I guess?
I can.
Yeah. Okay, and then item number 7 is a list of letters of concern regarding the proposed biosolids storage facility. Okay, and then the next section is the action required. Item number 8 is from North Middlesex, and it's a response to class size consultation. Support that or file that. Nobody's jumping up and down, so it seems like we're going to move on to the next one, which is item number 9. It's the Optimist Club of Kerwood, Adelaide Metcalfe, and it's a request to waive fees for barbecue being held on July 27th. Okay, and a seconder. Councillor Clark. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
So there's nothing else booked for that weekend, or did they have to book it for you anyway? Okay.
Okay. 10 is the 2019 MEA awards and requests for nominations. Motion from council to resolve that council receive and file correspondence items CC 1 to 8 and 10.
So moved.
Councillor Clark and Councillor Brody. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. So moving on to our staff reports. Our first one is from our clerk, Jennifer.
Thanks, Mayor Smith. This report, is just an update for council. Staff is working on the bylaw, and it's just a matter of getting some more information to bring forward. And this, it's very draft. I'm just presenting to you what staff has done thus far with the information that we've been receiving through investigating and research.
Okay. Is there any comments? Deputy Hendricks.
Under section 2, you've got an exemption. The Ontario Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. I don't have a problem with them having an exemption, but I'm not sure what exactly. I know they're not doing farm animals anymore. Are they still looking after cats and dogs and pets?
Through the mayor to you, Deputy Hendricks, they are involved. We do have a resident crew that works specifically with them to try and catch cats.
Okay. Are there questions or comments? No. Councillor McKinnon?
I had intended to call earlier today, but I was away under 3.1. They wanted to change swelling to dwelling.
Yes, I will do that.
Good catch.
I didn't even notice that.
I didn't either, and I read it.
Okay.
And then through you, Mayor Curtis, Mayor Smith, to the clerk. So this being just draft only now, it hasn't been reviewed by a solicitor at all?
No. And it will be once we get all the information prior to council approving, so I want to make sure all the legalities are looked after prior to council approving it.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? So Jennifer, when do you expect kind of the timeline from here?
First, I'd like to apologize because I'm not sure why my report's not there. I'm just noticing that now. I thought I attached it, and it's not. That's just the bylaw. So I do apologize for that. I don't have a timeline in mind, but I can tell you that it is being worked on. It's trying to get information. Our animal control officer has had a verbal with staff, and we just have no proposal from her if she's interested in becoming our animal control officer that is going to deal with cats. So until we get that information, we kind of don't really have a direction as to who or how we're going to tag and keep the cats once a bylaw enforcement officer catches the cats. We just have nowhere to take them right now. We don't have a tagging process. She's currently done tagging for this year for dogs.
She just did.
So then that's the other issue for 2019 anyways.
The one benefit is it's not the entire township, and then it's only the residential areas, so it'd be
Yeah,
more.
so that's the other thing. I don't have the maps attached to that, but that's one thing that staff and I have been working on, because we do have rural residential, which is from your surplus farm dwellings. So that's one portion I don't have in there because the rural residential is throughout the whole municipality. So you might have a rural residential zone property that'll be right beside an agricultural zone property. So I'm not sure how to address that part of the residential if council wants to pursue the rural residential.
I think the original intention was settlement areas, was what we said.
Yep, and I have that listed now. It's just when we take it to the solicitor, I'm not sure how that's going to be viewed, how we can just exempt rural residential from hamlet, village, and urban.
Well, it's the density issue.
Mhm. Yep.
I I think, and also on the flip side, we could also, instead of using our zoning bylaw, we could use our official plan as a designated, residential areas.
Okay, yep.
That could work better.
Remind me later about that happened, to talk to you about some another option for where you put these things.
Sure.
Okay. So in your report, was there a timeline or was it just
No,
adding
I'm sorry, there was no
Okay.
timeline. The
We're working on it.
recommendation,
Yep.
yeah, the recommendation was that council approve the, draft cat control bylaw report as presented by myself.
Okay. Mover and seconder for that. Councillor Clark and Councillor Brody. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
I will email that report around, just so that council knows it was supposed to be on here and, clearly missed it.
That's good. All right, our next several reports from our CEO Treasurer, Kathy.
Thank you, Mayor Smith. The first report is the invoice payment approval for the period May 17, 2019 to May 30, 2019 in the amount of $174,972.90.
Okay, is there any questions on the accounts? Deputy Mayor Hendricks?
The obvious one, the tax adjustment, is that is that due to business not operating or vacant property?
That was for a change from industrial to commercial for 2017. We already had the 2018 tax adjustment previously this year, and now the 2017 have also been completed, and they've signed off on it.
Okay, that's a lot.
Okay, is there any other questions? Okay, a motion to resolve that council approve the account listings for the period of May 17th to May 30th, 2019 in the amount of $174,972.90 as presented. Councillor Brody and Deputy Mayor Hendricks, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
The second report is in regards to the council grants and donations for 2019. Council has approved an amount of $20,000 for grants and donations in the 2019 budget. A policy in respect of a process to review funding requests is being developed for council prior to the 2020 budget deliberations. In the interim, direction on the disbursement of the 2019 allocated funds is required. The proposed grant allocations are specified on the attached spreadsheet. Each organization listed will receive the same grant amount as previous years with the exception of the Canadian Mental Health Association, which is reduced to $100 from $200. Each respective hospital has been reduced by approximately 12%. It is being recommended the council not provide grants or donations to private individuals or teams, which eliminates both Mr. Byans and Ms. Reddick from receiving township funds. The Adelaide W.G. McDonald Home and School is not being recommended to receive any funds. This is not the only school in the township, and youth from the township do attend schools beyond the township borders. A letter advising that the procedure for accessing Adelaide Metcalfe funds is under review by council, and that communications on new procedures will be forthcoming later this year. Will be sent with each of the donations that are sent out. The proposed list for 2019 meets the allocated budget amount of $20,000, and the list is attached on the second page.
Any discussion? Councillor Clark?
I can support the two hospital donations. I cannot support the other ones. I think it's a negligible amount, and these people haven't asked for the money, so I don't know why we're giving it to them. You don't just keep doing something because you did it before. So that's all I have input.
Deputy Mayor Hendricks?
Yeah, my feelings are pretty similar. It's almost not worth the paper to write the check. And, you know, they're individuals. It's not that they're not worthy of receiving money. Like, I think some of them are very good charities, and some of them are really associations that don't need anything from the township. So I concur with Councillor Clark's opinion.
Any other thoughts, comments? Councillor Brody?
I'm on the same page as the two recommendations. We concentrate on the hospitals and leave the rest.
Councillor McKinnon?
You know where I stand on the hospitals. I felt that we should have kept at the level that we were giving them, the 16 and the 5. Given that the Strathroy, Middlesex and Four Counties Hospital do provide a lot of employment to our ratepayers, I just feel we're making a mistake by dropping it. The others, I believe that the Middlesex Plowmen's Association have always requested $100, have they not? Or have we just given it to them? I thought they used to have a letter come in and it helps them to provide for the plowman's day that they have in the county. No.
It's never been a letter of request. We do get an invitation from them prior to the event and voting council to attend.
Maybe that's what it is. Thank you.
Councilor Brody?
Just do a quick math here. So the other ones are $1,000. If we're gonna spend our total amount of 20, we could bump up the hospitals a little bit more, and I'd go 5,000 and 15,000, and that covers our grants and donations for the year. And then we'll bump them up a little bit more if we decide to go that way. Just a thought.
Think we need a
What were Four Counties asking for?
16
No.
what?
That's what Strathroy Middlesex.
Or Strathroy,
Yeah.
oh, 5. It was 5 for both counties.
So that would, we could get down to 5 and 15 for Strathroy.
Deputy Hendricks?
If you're moving that, I'll second it.
I like that idea. Okay, any discussion? So the motion is to have it, the 2019 council grants and donations with $5,000 to the Four Counties Health Services and $15,000 to Strathroy Middlesex General Hospital. Okay, and if I could just, with the other ones, I tend to agree with the rest of council that they are minimal amounts. They're not really coming to have those requests. And I also feel that there's a long list of other organizations that aren't on this list, so I'd rather have it so then we kind of look at just the hospitals instead of a longer list that is out there. So with that, if there's no other questions or comments on the motion, all those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried.
The next report is a request for proposal report for the hay harvesting surrounding the Kerwood wastewater treatment plant at 27897 Kerwood Road. The report on the opening of the request for proposals is in front of you this evening. We received 2 proposals, one from Anthony DeWeird in the amount of $400 and Mike Early in the amount of $500. And the recommendation is take the highest amount from Mike Early.
So moved.
Seconder? Councilor Brody, any discussion? Just out of curiosity, Kathy, when were those request proposals sent out, or was it online?
It was online, and I believe they went out,
I saw it somewhere here, it was on
Okay.
they went out the 23rd of May.
Okay. And were they posted on Facebook as well?
Yep.
Okay, excellent. Okay. All those in favor? Opposed, and that's carried.
The next report, report number 4 is the request to purchase sewer capacity from 9 2nd Street. An application for site plan approval for 9 2nd Street was received in 2017. The property is located at the northeast corner of Center Road and 2nd Street intersection, the former Marshall store. The development includes a gas station, car wash, office space, and existing retail spaces. The sewer capacity allocated to the parcel is 5 cubic meters. Through their consultants' calculations, the developed site requires a total capacity of 9 cubic meters. A request to purchase the 4 additional cubic meters is attached to my report. The township retained a small quantity of sewer capacity in the Center Road commercial corridor. The original purchase of sewer capacity was allocated over the commercial corridor, with property owners purchasing their capacity. The capacity owned by the township has been sold to various property owners in the area who needed an additional amount of capacity to complete development. The purchase price has been set at $1,000 per cubic meter. The township does have capacity left to sell. I've attached a copy of the letter dated May 31st from Dillon Consulting, and the process financial impact, the proceeds will be incorporated as revenue to the Highway 81 sewer system in the general ledger to assist in offsetting costs of operation of the system. And it's being recommended that council approve the sale of 4 cubic meters of sewer capacity to 2531749 Ontario Inc. at a price of $1,000 per cubic meter.
So, want to move that, Deputy Hendricks?
I'll move that.
And a seconder? Councillor Brody, discussion? Councillor Clark?
Just to educate me a little bit, so will the numbered company, they'll have to pay for that, correct?
Yes.
They'll be assessed $4,000 or
They will be invoiced for $4,000 and have to pay for it.
And that's an annual thing?
As one time
One
purchase.
time only?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yes.
Councillor McKinnon?
Have we received confirmation under the insurance section 20 that we've been named as insurers as well? As part of the agreement that they
Oh,
signed?
that's the next report.
Oh, okay.
This is just dealing with our sewer capacity.
Okay.
Okay, is there any discussion on the sewer capacity? I just had one, Kathy, in the future, could we just have a report on the capacity that we have?
Yes,
Okay.
it's coming forward with the amendments to the sewer agreement with Strathroy Care, so you have an idea of where we're at with our capacities.
Excellent. Okay, all those in favor? Opposed, that's carried.
The next report is, again, involving 9 2nd Street. It's the site plan control and development agreement. The application was received in 2017. Staff have been working with the developer and the proponent to get this development off the ground. The final site plan control and development agreement is attached for council's approval. The agreement addresses the additional sewer capacity purchase, which you just previously approved. The costs associated with arriving at the site plan approval, both engineering and legal, as well as registration of the agreement, is at the expense of the property owner. And it's being recommended to council that they approve the site plan control and development agreement for part lot 1, plan 309, part 1, 304R 1560 with 2531749 Ontario Inc. and the County of Middlesex. And the County of Middlesex is party to the agreement because it fronts on their roads. So in relation to once council approves this, it just got approved Friday by the proponent. So once council approves it, they will have to follow through with everything listed there, provide the insurance, provide the security deposits as required, as well as pay all of the invoices that are related to the development.
As well as the workers' compensation board
Yes.
certificate.
Councillor Clark?
So Jeff, through the mayor, so with their site plan, would the road people be involved in that in case there was ever sidewalks going out there? Would they have to do something different at the road to make an allowance for that, for potential in the future?
If I may, there is a section in there, there is a section of sidewalk there along there, and they are required to maintain it at this point in time.
Oh,
What is
okay.
there, they have to, if they damage it or have a problem when they're driving across it to improve the site, then they're responsible to fix it.
So then, and that one is a little bit, it's old school, it's narrow, so they'd have to bring it up to what is standard to today if it's damaged.
If it's damaged, yes.
Okay.
And I don't think that section is narrow, was in the new standards, I think it is wider along
You think
Second
it
Street.
is?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it is, yes, I do believe we
Yeah.
did some preliminary work at one point in time, but, we did address it in the agreement that they're responsible to maintain it.
Councillor Brody?
No.
Okay. Deputy Hendricks?
Yeah, is this going to complete the amount of gas stations we're allowed to have on Center Road?
This one was in before the interim control bylaw. We went through that process to update our recommendation and our plans to have it within 750 meters, the review. So they are exempt from that requirement.
Okay, so the fourth one could go in or not?
Yes. There's the 2 developments that were underway when they had already submitted proposals when we went through that exercise. So this will be the second last one likely within that corridor.
Okay, because the other site further up the road is proposing also.
Correct.
But there's no services there.
Yeah, there
There
is.
is.
Yes.
So there is.
Were the 2 ordinances?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking on Blue Forum too.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Mover and seconder for the recommendation for approval. Councillor Brody and Councillor McKinnon. There's no further discussion before we call the vote. I just want to say that this has been a very long process. And I'm positive that the owners of the property are going to be very excited when this is approved and if we move forward on this. It's a lot of meetings, a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, as well as a lot of phone calls also to Chris Stringy from the County of Middlesex, who's the county engineer working on that. So I'm excited to see this happen because it's been a long road ahead from turning radiuses to entrances and exits. So I'm quite excited to see when this gets all done. So all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
The next report number 6, is in regards to a liquor license for 1425 Melville Drive. At the May 21st, 2019 meeting, Council received a request from Peter Budd, owner of 1425 Melville Drive, regarding obtaining a liquor sales license. There is a wedding venue operating as Sydenham Ridge Estate. Mr. Budd advised that he had inquired with township staff about providing the necessary municipal paperwork to support an application to the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. He was advised by staff that the property is not in compliance. At the meeting, Mr. Budd advised that he fully intends to proceed with bringing the property into compliance with the official plan and zoning bylaw, but since those processes take several months, a request to provide a 1-year municipal approval was sought. Planner Aaron Bash, Jennifer Turk, and myself met with Mr. Budd and Marge Hendricks on Monday, May 6, 2019, to discuss planning applications for 1425 Melwood Drive. Through email prior, Planner Bash advised that amendments to the official plan and zoning bylaw may be required in addition to site plan approval. Prior to the May 6th meeting, Ms. Hendricks had attended the township office with a form to be signed by the clerk for application for a liquor license. There were no details submitted with the application form. At our meeting, Planner Bash provided a sample report from Middlesex Centre which outlined the process undertaken to establish a wedding barn venue in compliance with their official plan and zoning bylaw. The proponent was advised to review the submission. It was recommended that a planning consultant be engaged to work through the process, and Clerk Turk advised that the property needs to be in compliance with township bylaws. For the official plan, the property is designated agriculture in the Adelaide Metcalfe official plan, attached is section 3.0 land use policies from the township official plan. An amendment is required to add a special policy area to permit the wedding barn use. Without farming use on the property, the wedding venue is not considered a permitted agricultural use. The zoning bylaw. Under the comprehensive zoning bylaw, the property is general agricultural A zone and environmental protection EP zone. Permitted uses are listed there. A zoning bylaw amendment is required to rezone the property to permit a wedding venue. Site plan approval is recommended to recognize the existing site development and any further additions, changes being proposed. This provides the township the opportunity to review the site plan, traffic requirements, on-site servicing, drainage, etc. A liquor sales license. For each application, the township is required to submit a municipal information form in support of all applications for a new liquor sales license or addition of an outdoor area. It is noted on the form that any concerns regarding zoning or non-compliance with bylaws must be submitted to the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario. Page 1 of the AGCO Liquor Sales Guide dated May 2019 advises, prior to applying for a liquor sales license, please check with your local municipality to ensure that your premises is properly zoned for this purpose. Staff must also indicate the status of wet, damp, or dry for the township. 3 municipal agency letters of approval, known as compliance letters, are also required to be submitted by the applicant as part of their liquor license application, being the building department under the Building Code Act, the fire protection officer or fire marshal under the Fire Protection and Prevention Act, Public Health Department, the Health Protection and Promotion Act. The compliance letters are form letters available from the AGCO website. Either the building department or the fire department should indicate the occupant load for the licensed area. Outdoor areas being licensed must specify that the fire department and health department have inspected these areas. I have attached the various forms to the report. Township staff are able to provide the municipal information as requested. However, staff are required to submit the concerns regarding the zoning or non-compliance with the applicable bylaws. Each respective department can review and provide their compliance letters related to their applicable legislation. The financial impact. The process to bring the property in compliance with the official plan and zoning bylaw will be at the expense of the property owner or their agent. Site plan approval requires a deposit from which the expenses incurred for professional review are deducted. Any reports required in support of applications under the Planning Act are at the expense of the proponent. And it's recommended that council approve the liquor license report as presented by the CAO treasurer.
Okay, any discussion? Councillor Clark?
4 questions. The first one, just so I understand in my head, so it's zoned agricultural now, and you wanna change it to what?
It would, it won't be changing from the agricultural, it will be a permitted use will be added for a site-specific permission. So it would be like site-specific to allow a wedding venue or an assembly occupancy hall of that sort.
It's not a commercial because they're running a business?
At this point, no. That's not the recommendation from.
Okay, that's question number 1.
Yeah.
Question number 2 is, explain to me wet, damp, and dry. I'm thinking dry is in the middle of Kentucky.
Wet
what
means
is-
you're able to sell all types of alcohol.
Okay.
Damp means it's only for beer and wine, I
Yeah.
believe, and dry means no alcohol at all.
Okay, and in the you speak of a letter. You speak of stating to the liquor control people or the gaming commissioner, whoever it is. In the if we were providing a letter, we would state the timeline that we expect the zoning to occur in.
I'm not sure what all we would include right at this point. We would just say it's not in compliance as of today, and that we would expect it to be brought into compliance with the zoning bylaw.
And what deposit amount would we be putting on this, or is it a?
That would be for the site plan approval process, and the
Right.
site plan approval deposit is $3,000. And a zoning bylaw amendment is $1,600.
Any other questions or comments? Councillor Brody?
So your recommendation here is to recommend that we just approve the report, correct?
Correct.
But are we gonna go ahead and allow the permit to go through with the conditions to have a change later on, the zoning change?
Council doesn't need to provide anything at this point. From my review of the legislation and the report, the alcohol application process, is that we need to send in the municipal information along with a letter that just says whether it's in compliance or not.
Okay, so that will get them what they need to.
That will get them their application to the Alcohol and Gaming Commission.
So we have the recommendation in front of us, and it's to resolve that council approve the liquor sales license 1425 Melbourne Drive report as presented by the CAO treasurer. Councillor Brody and Councillor McKinnon. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. That area in that. Bring your phone. Is there anything else, Scott?
No.
Alright, so move into other business. Is there anything for other business? Councillor Clark?
Has there been any movement with respect to having a fire official inspect the property across from Woods' General Store? I went by there and half the back of the thing is gone. Or off the building.
Go ahead.
The fire inspector has been out and issued an order for them to comply. And they have a timeline to get that.
Perfect, thank you.
And now with our new property standards, there's also sections in there that do apply as well, so we'll be able to go along with the property standards bylaw as well.
Thank you.
Councillor Brody?
Just other business, just maybe a nice email to the grass cutter. It's been pretty good. I've been watching the park, and it's been a challenge. It's been wet all the time. Just at the golf or the tournament is this weekend. I'll make sure they got it good shape.
Yeah.
It's okay, like it's,
Well, you're gonna get sun till 4 tomorrow and it's supposed to rain, so. Yeah.
no, we're gonna,
The cemetery down the road from our place looks great and he's on it, so,
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't seen the part to comment, so.
And I mean, he's well aware of it, and I advise that the tree needs to be done
yeah,
right away, so he's on top of it as best he can.
Deputy Hendricks?
Yep, I attended a couple of events. One wasn't really an event, it was the drainage meeting in Warwick. That was good, not really the best investment in time, because it was 5 minutes that I actually sat at the table, but needs to be done. The other event I attended was the mayor's breakfast at Strathroy Hospital, and we learned all about the new equipment they have. It's a 4K scope for and it's technology that no other hospital in southwestern Ontario has, so they're quite proud of it. They've had it for about 6 months, and it's really quite amazing. You can get all kinds of pictures of your insides if that really turns your crank. But they're quite proud of it, and they're quite grateful to everybody that supports the foundation to help them get that kind of equipment. That's all my business.
Anything else for other business? Just a couple of things from my end. So I had the opportunity to attend the FCM conference in Quebec City this past 4 days. So the FCM conference is the Federation of Canadian Municipalities. That's the first time I ever attended that conference, and it is a very large conference. It's very well attended, so there was over 3,000 attendees. It was interesting to talk with other councillors and mayors from across the country. Things are very different in other provinces, and it was quite neat to talk to all those individuals. And it turned quite a conversation starter when people look at your name tag and it says warden, and they think that you're part of like the prison. Yeah. Like it was quite interesting. So it was a lot of explaining as to what the warden for Middlesex County is and what I do, and it's a very quick conversation to get it to the mayor for the county, but it was kind of funny to hear what people thought. So that's why I was unfortunately not able to attend the mayor's breakfast in the Stratford Middlesex General Hospital. The other thing is hopefully by the next meeting it should be on our agenda, but if you just mark your calendar, so the Warden's Golf Charity Golf Tournament is July 12th, and it's at the Caradoc Sands. So hopefully everybody's able to attend that golf tournament or the dinner. And it's in support of the palliative care suite at the Strathmere Lodge. So it's going to be using that for some renovations there for that and some new furniture for the family. So yeah. So Kathy Bunting is just sending that out. Hopefully in the next couple of days you should receive an email, or Kathy will, I'm not sure who, but yeah. So, and also if anybody's interested in becoming a whole sponsor, let me know. I'll be knocking on a lot of doors on downtown Strathroy and the surrounding area for businesses for getting them to be sponsors. So looking forward to that. Okay, if there's nothing else for other business yet, Councilor McKinnon?
I might suggest you pop into the office.
Thinkers or
Yes.
now learners? There we go. That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, invite them and bring an invitation to the golf tournament. I think they're wanting to make themselves known in the area.
Okay, that's an excellent suggestion. Thank you.
One last thing, I'd like to thank Jeff and the road guys for unblocking the road so quickly on Saturday evening when 2 huge maple trees. One was rotted, but the other one definitely wasn't. I wouldn't say we had a tornado, but we had a significant wind event that went through a hell of a mess. I had pool furniture in the water and in the pool. It was something else, but anyway, thanks again.
I'll pass that along.
And after the meeting, we'll make sure we get Jeff's cell phone number to all the counselors, just in case,
I'm afraid I already have.
So a quick text for him.
One of my calls said, well, I was going to call Eldon, and I thought, and I said, no.
All right, so the next section of our meeting is our closed session. So we have a motion to resolve the council, the CEO, treasurer, and the clerk in the closed section pursuant to section 239(2)(a), B, and C at 7:40. Councilor McKinnon and Councilor Brody, all those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. Okay, so we just ended our closed session at 9:10 p.m. and we just have a couple items for the Rise report.
Thanks, Mayor Smith. I have two motions. The first motion, resolved that council directs the treasurer to proceed with registration of tax arrears certificate on each property under section 373 subsection 1 of the Municipal Act as recommended in closed session.
So
Moved by Councilor McKinnon, seconded by Deputy Hendricks. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried.
And the second one I have is resolved that council directs staff to proceed as discussed in closed session.
Mover and seconder, Councilor Clark and Councilor Brody. All those in favor? Opposed? And that's carried. So is there anything else for other business that we forgot? Councilor McKinnon?
yeah, could we have the amount of drainage maintenance works that's on our drainage ledger brought to council so we can see what we're sitting and with unbilled?
Okay. Anything else? Alrighty, so we just had a few bylaws, and it's resolved that all three readings be given to bylaw number 43 of 2019, council remuneration, bylaw number 44 of 2019, adopt the 2019 budget, and 45 of 2019, confirm council proceedings, and the bylaws be signed by the mayor, the clerk, and the corporate seal be attached. Councilor McKinnon and Councilor Brody, all those in favor? Opposed and carried. And a motion to adjourn at 9:13. Councilor Brody and Councilor Clark, all those in favor? Opposed and that's carried.
You saw me go.